What if your salary has been going up every year, and yet your financial life hasn't meaningfully improved? Not in a dramatic way, not in a way that feels like something is wrong, just quietly staying in the same place, or in some cases, becoming slightly more fragile. Because on paper, everything looks fine. You're earning more than you did a few years ago. Your job is stable. Your lifestyle looks reasonable, but the space between what you earn and what you keep hasn't really changed. Oliver is 26. He lives in a mid-sized city, somewhere like Manchester, Chicago, or Melbourne. He earns $60,000 a year. After taxes, healthcare, and deductions, he takes home about $3,800 a month. His life looks normal. Rent is $1,400. Car payment, $350. Student loan, $300. Groceries, utilities, insurance, subscriptions, around $1,300. By the end of the month, he has about $450 left. It's not a lot, but it's something. He's not stressed. He's not saving aggressively either. He's just stable. A year later, he gets a raise. His salary increases to $65,000. It feels like progress, a sign that he's moving forward, that his effort is being recognized. After tax, his monthly income goes up to about $4,100, an extra $300 per month. That should create more breathing room. But something else changes at the same time. His rent renews. It increases from $1,400 to $1,550. His car lease ends. He upgrades slightly. Now it's $420 a month. He starts going out a bit more often. A few more dinners, a few more subscriptions, better convenience in daily life. Nothing extreme, just small adjustments. At the end of the month, he still has about $450 left, exactly where he started. This is the silent pay cut. It doesn't reduce your income. It reduces the impact your income has on your future. And it happens in a way that feels completely reasonable. Now extend this pattern. At 28, Oliver earns $72,000. At 30, maybe $80,000. At 33, closer to $90,000. Each increase feels like progress. And each time his life adjusts. A better apartment, a more comfortable car, more convenience, more flexibility in daily spending. Nothing feels irresponsible, but something important isn't happening. His financial margin isn't expanding. Let's look at the math more closely. At 26, he saves around $450 per month. That's $5,400 per year. Over 10 years, that's $54,000, assuming nothing changes. Now imagine a different version of Oliver. Same job, same raises, same city, but one small difference. When his income increases by $300 per month, he only allows his expenses to increase by $100. He keeps $200, so his savings go from $450 to $650, then to $850, then to $1,050. Gradually, not perfectly, but consistently. After a few years, the gap becomes noticeable. After 10 years, it becomes significant at a 7% average annual return. The first version ends up with around $54,000. The second version is closer to $140,000 to $160,000. Same income trajectory, same opportunities, different outcomes. The difference didn't come from earning more. It came from keeping more. So why does the first path feel so natural? Why do most people follow it without questioning it? Part of it is structural. Your salary is presented annually. You hear, you got a $7,000 raise, but your life runs monthly. So your brain translates that into, I can afford about $300 more per month. That translation seems harmless, but it changes how you behave because the world around you is built to absorb that $300. Housing adjusts quickly. If your income increases, you start looking at slightly better apartments. Not dramatically better, just slightly. But even a $150 increase in rent absorbs half your raise. Car payments are structured to feel manageable. Instead of thinking about total cost, you think in monthly terms. $350 becomes $420. It feels like a small step, but it's a long-term commitment. subscriptions, services, convenience spending. They're all designed to feel insignificant individually. $10 here, $20 there. But together, they quietly reshape your financial structure. No single decision looks like a mistake. Each one feels justified, even deserved. But collectively, they eliminate the gap between income and expenses. There's also a psychological layer. Humans adapt quickly. What feels like an upgrade today becomes normal in a few months. A better apartment stops feeling better. It just feels like where you live. A nicer car stops feeling like a luxury. It becomes standard. The emotional benefit fades, but the cost remains. This is often called lifestyle inflation, but that term makes it sound optional. In reality, it feels automatic. You don't consciously decide to inflate your lifestyle. You adjust, gradually, almost invisibly. There's also identity. As your income increases, your sense of what is appropriate for you changes. You start to align your lifestyle with who you believe you are becoming. You don't think, I'm spending more. You think, this is normal for someone at my level. Social context reinforces this. You look around. Friends upgrade their apartments. Colleagues drive newer cars. People in your circle spend differently. You adjust, not to impress, but to fit into your environment. Then there's convenience. As your income rises, your time feels more valuable, so you start paying to save time. Food delivery instead of cooking. Ride services instead of public transport. Paid solutions instead of doing things yourself. Each decision is rational, but each one adds a recurring cost. Over time, these layers combine. Income increases, expenses follow, and the gap, the space where wealth is built, never really forms. Now consider the long-term effect. If your savings remain flat, while your income increases, your financial life doesn't accelerate. It plateaus. You earn more, but your flexibility doesn't increase. Your ability to handle unexpected expenses doesn't improve significantly. Your dependence on your monthly income remains high. At 35 or 40, you might be earning more than you ever expected and still feel financially constrained. Not because you lack discipline, but because your system never created a surplus. Financially aware individuals tend to approach raises differently. They don't reject lifestyle improvements, but they slow them down. When their income increases, they don't immediately convert it into fixed expenses. They let part of it remain uncommitted. They understand something simple. A raise is not just an increase in income. It's an opportunity to change your trajectory. If every increase in income is matched by an increase in lifestyle, your trajectory stays flat. But if even a small portion is preserved, that difference compounds. They also think in terms of commitments. Every new expense is not just a payment. It's an obligation, one that continues every month. And as obligations increase, flexibility decreases. This doesn't mean avoiding all upgrades. It means being selective, because every decision has a long-term effect. If Oliver continues on his original path, by his late 30s, he may have a higher income, but similar financial pressure. If he follows the alternative path, his life may not look dramatically different on the surface, but internally, it operates differently. Higher savings, lower dependency, more options, same raises, different outcomes. There's also a broader system at play. Inflation. Even when your salary increases, the cost of living rises alongside it. Housing, healthcare, insurance, food, they all become more expensive over time. So part of your raise isn't actually increasing your purchasing power. It's just maintaining it. But because the increase is framed as a raise, it feels like progress, even when it's partially offset. Then your lifestyle adjusts on top of that, and the combination creates a subtle effect. You're working more, earning more, but not moving forward as much as you think. This is why it feels confusing. From the outside, everything looks better. From the inside, not much has changed. The silent pay cut isn't a single event. It's a pattern, one that emerges from small, reasonable decisions. And because each decision feels normal, the pattern goes unnoticed. So the real question isn't whether you should aim to earn more. Of course you should. The question is what happens after your income increases, because that's where the outcome is shaped. not by one big decision, but by a series of small ones. Do you convert your raise into lifestyle, or do you allow part of it to become long-term progress? That difference doesn't show immediately, but over time, it defines your financial life. If this made you think a little more clearly about how raises actually affect